Well, the time has come to move these beauties into the backyard with the other trucks. I had to make a couple spots for them, but no big deal. We'll get them all moved back there and set up with the other trucks just like them. They'll look great at home. And what better thing to move them with than the 1941 Chevy G506. I got this thing a little bit stuck in the backyard before things kind of dried up more. So, that took some doing to get it out, but, that's no big deal. But we got her out here, and the winch line's all hooked up. I just need to put my tag line from bumper to bumper so I can pull on it. And then we're just going to wheel it backwards out back there. So we'll go ahead and get fired up and chained off and pick this thing up and take her out back. Now, I can't remember if I mentioned in the previous video or not, but the steering box in this truck is seized up and something's wrong in it. So this one doesn't steer, so having the boom truck will help, especially for moving this one where we can't steer it. So we'll just pick it up in the front and manipulate it around using the rear wheels, and it seems to roll fine, so ought to work good. But we'll get fired up here and get after it. And if you didn't see the previous video on going and rescuing these two, be sure to go check it out. It's good stuff. So you know how I make comments about these trucks being pretty worn out these days, and going through a war and being 80 plus years later, they've been worked super hard, they've been used and abused, and they've earned the right to be a little worn out and tired. So that's no big deal. But one of the things this truck does is you put the transfer case in low range and it pops right out of gear. Interestingly enough, it won't do it when you're backing up, only when you're going forward, and you put any amount of load under it and it'll just kick right out of gear, and it makes it kind of a pain for when you're wanting to move stuff. I like to use low range just because it's slower and smoother. Using high range to move stuff is kind of harder on the clutch, and it's not very good. So yeah, it's always been a pain to move stuff in low range with this truck. And another fun little fact, when I first got this and when I was crawling underneath of it, checking everything out, fluids and all that good stuff, I actually noticed somebody's fix to keeping it in low range so it wouldn't pop out on them. So we're going to crawl back under this thing and put that fix back on so that we can use low range and don't have to worry about it popping out of gear on us on the transfer case. Okay, we're under the truck. We got our low range lockout on, and all that is a hose clamp around the selector shaft, and that'll keep it from popping out. That's what I found on this truck originally, so that's what we're putting back on, and ought to do the trick just fine. But pretty comical how somebody came up with that. I guess you could use vice grips too, but that would score up that shaft, which I don't want to do, so the hose clamp is a little bit safer for that. So we'll go ahead and fire this back up and continue moving our trucks. one down. I figured the old bomb truck would look good sitting next to the CCKW and the Girl Wanted G506. So, good spot for it. We can get to it pretty easily and add parts to it and slowly get her back up into shape and eventually running and driving again. So that'll be good. But good spot for it, I think. It's right at home with others. So we'll go grab the other one. And my spot for it is down here where the M37 was sitting. Should go into here pretty easily, and that'll be a good spot for it. I try to group things back here, you know, the 70s Fords. I try to keep them all together, the 80s Fords, 90s Fords, and then the World War II stuff I have all along this one side here, all the way up to where the Weasel's at right there. So keeping everything grouped and organized is kind of the goal here. Plus it looks better, so I think we're doing all right with that. So we'll hop back in the 41 and go grab the other 41. Can it not get any more majestic than this? We got 3 Chevy G506 trucks here. Seems pretty great to me. there you guys got to see some nice close quarter boom truck action. We didn't hit anything, but it was you know, pretty tight and tricky to get it in here, but we got it. And it's right at home next to the GPW and all the other spare parts and piles. Plenty of room to get around stuff. So that's good. Looks right at home. Plenty of room to the parts back here. Sweet. So now that they're both home and in place for now, I'm gonna put the 42 G506 back in there where it originally lived before I got it revived and driving. So that way we have Chevy, 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 and then GMC. And then I still need a spot for the 41 Boom Truck and also the Studebaker US6. It's out back there after I had to use it to get this thing unstuck. But we're rearranging, doing pretty good. It's looking good, so I think the end result will look pretty great. Have them all in one row, which will look cool. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the action getting things moved around back here. It's always fun to use the old boom truck, and I think the fact that using a G506 to move two others is pretty legendary in itself, and you probably don't see that much anymore, so that's super cool. And it felt pretty awesome to be doing that with it. So yeah, she's a lot of fun. It's you know, pretty slow and hard to maneuver, especially when you get all the weight on the front end. It doesn't like to steer very easily, so you know, got to strong hand it and make it turn where you want, but she does good. It handles everything I throw at it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. And don't forget, merch store, link for that is in the description. Go grab some cool stuff, support the channel. I appreciate it. And until the next video, I will see you guys later.